Welcome to the RPG Metaphor. I'm so glad that you're here and so excited to be able to engage in this activity with you. I would highly encourage you to incorporate this activity in your own therapeutic work if you're engaged with a counselor. But if you're not, I think that this activity has a lot of opportunity for self-reflection and to gain insight into your own life. The primary goal of this activity is to take your RPG language and apply it to the real world. So what we're going to do is we're going to create you as a fantasy character. So this can be any fantasy setting, any role-playing game, or even video game that you want to. As a caveat, I have built this activity primarily based off of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition by Wizards of the Coast without taking anything that's copywritten by them. But if you're familiar with that system, this is going to be really easy. It may take a little bit of extra finessing if you're playing Pathfinder or Fate or Call of Cthulhu. And if none of this is making any sense to you, it may not be the best activity, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't keep watching and see if it is helpful for you. As we get started, I want you to visualize yourself as a fantasy character inside a world of magic and excitement and adventure. And I want you to answer a few questions and put them on the character sheet that is provided with this activity. What race is your character? What level is your character? What class is your character? Now, race is going to really impact your engagement with society and the way that you believe about the world or believe about family. Similar to how in real life, our race and our ethnicity has a huge impact on the way that we see the world and engage with it. For your fantasy creature, it doesn't have to align perfectly with who you are in real life. What we're trying to do is represent it in this fantasy world. And so you might say, I'm a dwarf, or I'm a Goliath, or maybe I'm even a goblin because I feel like an outcast and nobody likes me. Dig into that a little bit. What does it mean to you to be that race, to see your character as that race? Level and class are talking about how you approach challenges. Are you the person that goes head first into a challenge, or are you the person who prefers to stay back and use your intellect to overcome something? Or perhaps you're maybe a rogue and you prefer to find a way to get around the challenges or to find a way to cheat through it. All of these things are going to be really important for you to be able to reflect on. Not only what does it mean for this character that you're creating, but what does it mean for you that you see your character that way? Underneath the section of armor class, hit points, and level, you're going to see a little gauge. This is to represent your progression from the level you are currently to the next level. How close are you to leveling up? I'd also encourage you to write down, what is your armor class? How hard is it for someone else or something else to hit you? How many hit points do you have? Write both your maximum hit points, the most that you could have, and how much you have now. And reflect a little bit about what it means that you are down X amount of hit points or that you're at full hit points. Write down some of your thoughts about class and race, and then move on to attributes. If you're familiar with the setting, attributes are strength, dexterity, constitution, wisdom, intelligence, and charisma. Strength is your physical prowess. Dexterity is your agility or gracefulness, your ability to dodge. Constitution, I think, can represent your grit and your resiliency. How much hurt can you take? How much pain can you tolerate? Your intelligence and wisdom is, I think, an easy way to put it is your intelligence is knowing something. And then your wisdom is understanding something. So you may know that if I put two blocks on top of each other, they're not going to fall over. But you understand that gravity is pushing those blocks together. And if you have them separated, they will fall down. Kind of complicated, but explore it. What does it mean for you to be highly intelligent or highly wise? And if there's a discrepancy between those two, what does that mean for you? Finally, charisma. A lot of the times we talk about this as how good you look or how good you talk, but really I think it ties into this idea of how effective are you at making connections with others. A neutral score for all of them is going to be 10. That's basic human. Under that, you're going to start incurring penalties. Above that, you're saying that you're more effective than the average person. Special skills, these are things that you're good at. Maybe that's woodworking or a musical instrument or the job that you do. Maybe it's a special hobby that you have or a dumb human skill that you have. Put it down on this list and then put a number next to it to represent how special or how effective you feel in that skill. It may just be a +1 because you're okay at it, but you're not the best at it. Maybe it's a +10 because you know that you are one of the best of those things. Ideals are going to be things that you believe are true about the world and about yourself. I'd encourage you to keep these positive. These are going to be things that you can go back to in moments of difficulty and trust that at one time you chose to believe this, and so it's worth believing even in the moments of doubt. This could be something like, in my family, Shirins don't believe lies. Or if you can accept no as an answer, ask every question. So when I'm doubting the idea that I should ask a question, if I think that I can accept no, I've already decided that I should ask the question then. Bonds are going to be the groups or organizations that you're involved with. If you're part of a spiritual community, this is a great place to represent that. What does it look like in this fantasy world? It could be friendships or it could be clubs that you're a part of. Finally, flaws are going to be some of the barriers to your own growth, things that kind of hold you back. This could be a belief that you don't trust anyone ever, or maybe that the whole world is out to get you, and so you just don't want to engage with people. Next is equipment, spells, and items. These are going to be the assets that you have in your life. They might be real world things that you have, or they might be representations of that. It could be that your family pet represents breastplate that kind of protects you, and they're the thing that you can come home to and feel safe with. Maybe it's a parent that feels like a cloak because they keep you warm and safe. Maybe it's the actual jewelry that you wear that gives you bonuses for this character. I'd also encourage you to think about any cursed items that you might have. These might be things that incur penalties but are really hard to get rid of. What would it take to get rid of that cursed item? What would it take to get rid of that thing that is holding you back? The next section is your adventuring party. I've included 4 sections for this because I really want you to focus in on your closest friends. And what you're going to do is you're going to write down what class they are, what race they are, what level they are, and then there's a large section that is dedicated to their default statement. So if you think about a video game or something like that, most of the time, other characters are going to have like their default phrase or their one statement that they keep on saying. And this statement is going to represent themselves and their relationship with you. So you might put down for somebody that they say, "You're an idiot, but I love you." Or "I have full confidence in who you are," or "I love you no matter what," or "I don't like you, I'm just with you because it's convenient." Put those down and reflect on what that means for you. Also reflect on what it means for the diversity of your adventuring party. A good adventuring party is going to have individuals who have special skills in different areas. So you might have a wizard and a fighter and a barbarian and a bard. You might not have a cleric. What does that mean to not have somebody who is going to offer healing or offer support in that way? Maybe what does it mean if your entire adventuring party looks exactly like you and is all the same level? Or maybe what does it mean if you're the highest level in your adventuring party? Are you fighting at your level or are you fighting at the level of everybody else? And finally, the last part is quests and objectives. This also includes our villains. So what is your character's purpose in the world right now? What quest are they on? What things do they need to accomplish to level up? These could be small things that are just kind of side quests, and then it could also be a larger thing that is the main campaign. What does that mean for you? Are they trying to just achieve self-enlightenment? If so, how are they going to accomplish that? Or what objectives are they completing right now that lead to that? And then villains. So put as many as you want, but explore what the villain is or what the main challenge is. And maybe even put a specific monster to this. So maybe it's depression and it's represented as a shadow monster in the fantasy world. How do you fight a shadow monster? Well, you probably have to get some source of light. You probably have to get special weapons. You probably can't do it all on your own. There's probably a specific time of day that you want to do it. Write all of those things down and then explore what that means for you in your attempt to fight against depression. Okay, well, I probably need to have some light, so I should probably do it during the day. And I probably don't need to do it alone, so I'm going to invite my adventuring party to help me with this. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to kind of entrap it, which maybe means that I'm going to find all the lies that it's telling me and figure out the truths that combat it or something like that. It can be whatever. Doesn't have to be a specific thing. The main goal of this entire activity is to allow you a space to reflect a little bit more and gain greater insight into how you see yourself and how you see the world around you. It may also give you some opportunities to think about the struggles and the challenges that you're facing in a different way that then allows you to have a different understanding of how to approach them and how to overcome. As I mentioned, I highly encourage you to incorporate this activity in some form of counseling. I think that there's a lot of meaning to be gained from doing it on your own as sort of a journaling activity, but I think there's so much more to be gained if you do it in a space with another person, specifically somebody who's trained to have these kind of conversations with you. If you're looking for somebody who would be able to do that with you and you're in Colorado, feel free to reach out to Mayfield Counseling Centers. And if you're outside of Colorado, you can still reach out to us and we will work with you to help connect with a therapist that's in your area.